The topic for our sermon is "The harvest is plentiful," and the sermon passage is taken from Matthew chapter 9 verse 35. I will read it for you. And Jesus went throughout all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction. This is the word of Christ. Amen. Back home in my native place, my grandfather was a local ruler, and he had acres and acres of land. And he grew a lot of things like paddy, grains, cotton, groundnuts, a lot of things. So for their own household, they never buy anything from outside. Apart from their own family use, they will sell the rest to the market. And so he was a farmer, and I knew very well about what is harvest means. But my father did not have any lands, but what he will do, he will go to the paddy field every time when they harvest, buy stuff for the entire year. For example, rice for the entire year, paddy, and every month what we will do is take out a bag of paddy and remove the husk and use it for our family use, and that will stay and be there for the entire year. Even some of the things like the grains, the lentils, the tamarind, everything that we used to buy for the entire year from the time the harvest was made. The harvest season and harvest festival is the biggest festival in any country, especially in India as well. They remove the husk from the paddy, they make the rice for the first time, and it will be a big celebration. And the harvest festival is being celebrated all over the world. And in US we call it as Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a harvest festival. But the harvest, when Jesus says in this particular passage, means harvest of souls. The soul never dies, and the soul is always young. And soul came from heaven, from God, and the soul will return to God. So harvest is the end result of what happens. So in order to reap the souls for the kingdom of heaven, Jesus says here, the harvest is plentiful in this world. So his chosen leaders went all around the world harvesting souls to fill the kingdom of God. In order, the same souls will fill the kingdom of heaven. That's why we read here that Jesus Christ charged all his disciples, saying that you have to go round the world and proclaim the gospel. And those disciples chose their own disciples, and it goes on and on. And that's why even the pastors for today, they are called, they have accessed, they are the accession of the apostles from the past. Followers of Christ, we have to follow what Christ has done, what Christ has commanded. So when you say the laborers that we need for the harvest, that is including the evangelists, the missionaries, the pastors, also the leaders of the church, and not only that, we also need all the members of the church to just obey the commandment of Jesus Christ, which has been given to us as followers of Christ. Each and every one of us have the responsibility to do the harvest on our own. And that's why Jesus says, the harvest is plentiful all over the world, but the laborers are very few. So Jesus is always looking for new laborers. And you and I have already been chosen to be the laborers under the kingdom, under the leadership of Christ. I have 3 points to share today. The first point is teaching, and the second point is proclaiming, and the third point is healing. This is exactly Jesus is teaching us when we go out as laborers for harvesting the souls. This is what exactly Jesus wants us to do. The first point is the teaching. When you read Matthew chapter 9, 35, the first part of the verse, he says, Jesus went throughout